Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Season 2 of Servant. And this is an Apple TV Plus series, probably most well known for the fact that this has M. Night Shymalan attached, who has directed quite a few episodes of the series. It definitely, even the episodes that don't have him as a director, really have his visual style, his kind of smooth camera work, eeriness, and everything that goes about creating the thrills and the suspense in his films. I remember back when Sixth Sense came out and Signs, and people were saying he was the next Hitchcock. And I remember watching the first season of this and really being on edge, great suspense, sense of mystery, and I was very interested to see where this show went after the first season, really introducing this idea of a cult and what's happened to this baby. What's happened to baby Jericho? And you have this second season, over the course of these 10 episodes, from creator Tony Bascalop, who is the one who created the show, wrote the show primarily, and obviously Shyamalan's name's really attached to it, but he has only directed the episodes, which might be for the best. It's missing out on some of those really big, like, Shyamalan-isms that it's like you have to have all these twists for the sake of these twists. Not gonna lie, this show does have its twists. And I think the biggest twist of the second season is the lack of narrative momentum. And that's the tricky thing about this second season. The first season set up this great show, this unnerving mystery about this baby dying and being replaced with a doll. And you have this wife, Dorothy, played by Lauren Ambrose, who really believes this child is real. And her husband, Toby Kebbell, who is Sean, has been really giving in to this delusion, and regretfully so, or maybe not so regretfully so, if this is what he cares about his wife and doesn't want to harm her with the fact that she might have had something to do with the death of their child. And they have the brother-in-law, who plays Dorothy's sister, played by Rupert Grint, which is an interesting performance for Rupert Grint, especially after being in Harry Potter all those years. And then you have our nanny. And she, Leanne, is such a big part of the show, played by Nell Tiger-Free, who is very mysterious. Where's she come from? And you get some hints and some more information about that towards the end of this first season. And now we have her creepy Uncle George showing up. You get some other members of this cultish family showing up. But Leanne disappeared with Jericho at the end of the first season. And there's a level of trying to find Leanne in the earlier parts of this season. And that's interesting. It shakes the plot up a bit. But once Leanne's back and they're kind of keeping her captive throughout this season, the plot doesn't take a whole lot of big steps forward. The show this season really focuses on characters and spiraling characters and symbolism. Sean has this giant burn on his hand, and he can't feel anything, he can't taste anything. These strange occurrences are happening with him. Toby Kebbell plays all of it perfectly. And you have Ambrose, who is deeply disturbed at this point, honestly. And she's the biggest in terms of what's she going to do next. She has become quite a wild card in the show. And you're on edge trying to figure out what Dorothy's going to do next. And Rupert Grint's character gets even more paranoid, maybe a little more drunk, a little more drugs, and maybe getting a little involved with somebody he probably shouldn't be, because it's probably not for the best. But you have those situations, and then you have Leanne, who Free plays very, very well with this sense of danger and concern. And the interesting thing is, this season kind of ends on was potentially going to be very similar to the end of last season, but now opening up this idea of who is she involved with? And you have this big question that was posed at the end of the first season that you kind of just spiraled around this season. I think a lot of people are going to feel like there's not a whole lot of narrative progress in here, not enough to warrant this whole season. And I would tend to agree. But there's enough atmosphere and unnervingness to the tension that's built in each episode and enough character work to get you at least involved and interested. This might not be the most fulfilling in terms of like a narrative progression, but it definitely hits a lot of boxes in terms of an experiential season. And I think Servant, if they could keep up this atmosphere, maybe find some ways to drive the plot forward a little bit more, will become even more engaging in season 3. But for now, season 2 is a lot of creepiness, a lot of character work, and maybe a couple of layers are pulled back on this whole creepy cult thing that's going on in Servant. But those are my thoughts on the second season of Servant. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.